Our nuclear power stations, including just down the road here at Hartlepool, 100% foreign owned. Our gas power stations, 85% foreign owned. Our coal power stations, 100% foreign owned. And then our renewable industry, that is of course lauded by Westminster, all the politicians thinking this great opportunity for green British jobs. Well, it turns out that our offshore wind turbines, 83% of them are foreign owned. So it actually turns out that green jobs are not so much British jobs. The biggest single owner of our wind turbines is the Danish taxpayer. So we British taxpayers are paying huge inflation-linked subsidies to create ever larger profits for the Danish taxpayer. What's the advantage of that? Our gas pipe network, 89% foreign owned, with operating margins approaching 40% a year. For a monopoly, there's no choice. We have to use the gas pipe network. And yet operating margins, 40%. Our electricity network, 79% foreign owned, with even higher operating margins, a whisker under 50%. For a monopoly, those of us in private business, these are margins we could only dream of, and that's in a competitive world. But for monopoly, really? So that, in summary, the total ownership of all of our monopoly utilities, it turns out 87% of all our monopolies are indeed overseas owned. So not only have the Tories sold off our water, our power, our distribution networks, but they've allowed billions and billions of pounds every year of operating profits to disappear overseas. We know something's wrong. We know we're being ripped off. We know we're being legged over. And this is how, this is why, and it's not right. These owners have run rings around our regulators, and no other sensible nation has allowed this. I repeat, no one else has privatised their water companies in the same way that we have. Strategic ownership of critical national infrastructure should be owned by the British people. So the Tories sold Britain, and yet the Labour Party are not interested. Keir Starmer, when he was campaigning to be leader, he said he wanted to renationalise the utilities. Well, that was the last we heard of that. He's not interested. Only Reform UK will take back control of our British water, our British power, our critical British infrastructure back into British hands. Because for our critical infrastructure, that is the right thing to do. And the right model is actually that 50% should be in public ownership, 50% should be owned by British pension funds on behalf of British pensioners, and these companies should be privately managed. So you get that fantastic, unique, win-win-win combination of public ownership, British pension funds, but well managed by the private sector. The benefit then is that instead of being ripped off, we'll cut costs for ordinary British people. We'll take back control for the British people. And of course, that was the whole point of Brexit, to take back control. And yet it seems that only Reform UK actually wants to do that. And what I say in summary is we can take back control. We can make Britain great. So let's reform UK. Thank you very much indeed.